Hey, greetings fellow nerds. I am a nerd fighting fat, and this is my weekly fat fighting update. I am doing alternate day fasting, working out, watching my sugars, and this is my 23rd week of being on Mounjaro, currently on the 10 milligram pen. So those of you following my updates know I started doing these to help motivate myself. Kind of a selfish reason, helps me keep in line. Oftentimes I don't cheat because I don't want to announce to the world I'm a cheater and a cotton-headed ninny muggin. So I've been watching though, and my updates are getting 100 views a week now, which is kind of crazy to me. I didn't think that many people would even be interested, but I'm going to start trying to change this up just a little bit to be more fun and more useful for the people that want to spend 10 to 15 minutes with me each week and kind of follow my progress. So hopefully you guys enjoy these things as I tweak them a little bit, and let me know if I add anything that's too crazy. All right, so let's go over the numbers for this week. These are my personal results for this week. So weight loss, 5.4 pounds. So pretty awesome. I'm pretty excited about that. So that's the second week in a row, roughly. I've lost about 5 pounds or so. So things are doing well. So my total weight loss on Mounjaro now is 42.2 pounds. And my total overall is over 125 pounds now. So definitely making some progress. Still a ways to go, but feeling good about things. My average glucose for the week was 94. That's amazing to me. Being a diabetic, the Mounjaro controls the blood sugar so much better than anything else I've ever tried. And the high that I got to was 144. So when you eat, your glucose spikes up, and the highest I spiked to was 144. So pretty awesome. Average calories for the week was 1,829 calories. My carbs was 99, sugar 30, 105 grams of protein on average, 109 grams of fat. So the protein, I'd like to get a little bit higher, and maybe the carbs and fat a little bit lower. So have to see if I can make a couple tweaks towards that. I did get my 2 36-hour fasts in, and I got 6 workouts in. So kind of split those between swimming in my SwimSpa and Supernatural on the Oculus. I'm really having a fun time with that. So I do have a doctor's appointment coming up this next week, and my blood sugar is great, and I'm still dropping some weight, but I've noticed the fullness effect waning. So I was thinking of maybe trying to titrate up to 12.5 milligrams. But check this out. So props to On the Pen, Man on Mounjaro for this tip. But you can search drug shortages in Google. You can put in the first two letters of terzepatide, which is what Mounjaro and Zepbound's active ingredient is. And we can see that the 12.5 gram Mounjaro is in shortage through February. So I'm probably just going to have them give me 10 milligrams for a couple more months, at least until I see this shortage go away, so that I can just keep on what I'm doing, and then I'll try to maybe titrate up after the 12.5 is no longer in shortage. So I did have some pretty bad side effects this week for a day or so, but I think it was more due to a meal I ate right after the shot. I had there's a place nearby called Spitz, and I got this Mediterranean street fries thing, and I think it was a little higher carb and grease, a little greasy than it likes. I usually have to try to be pretty clean, like the day after the shot. And the last couple weeks before this one, I've had very minimal side effects. So, anywho. All right, so fat fighting food. So this is a new segment I thought I'd do for you guys, and basically check out some fat fighting food that I cooked or I prepared or even that I grew. So this week I just wanted to show you guys a quick stir fry that I made. So I do this all the time. I use some leftover protein. I just pick some greens off my hydroponic garden here in my office, And so basically it's my office farm to my belly in less than 30 minutes. I have an hour lunch. I work from home, so this is definitely an advantage of working from home, that I can just cook this up. But I typically try to keep my lunch to around an hour, and so if I go and I work out for a half hour, and then I have 30 minutes where I can just cook something up really quickly and have my food. So here's a little short video of me showing how I put this together. So my first ingredient is some protein. So I got 6 ounces of prime rib here. And then I'm gonna throw in a bunch of greens. So I grew some alfalfa sprouts. I've got a kohlrabi here. So I'm just gonna use the kohlrabi itself, not the leaves on that. I've got a few Swiss chard leaves. I got some bok choy. I got some tatsoi, which is kind of like spinach. And then I got some green onions that I grew. And then I've got some skinny pasta that I'm gonna throw in. So this is essentially pasta with no carbs. So if you can, let's see if I can get it to focus on that. So you can see it's about 4.5 calories per serving, and this thing has 2 servings. So pretty much nothing. I'm gonna throw in just a little spritz of cheese, a couple stalks of celery, and then I've got some peppers, just an assorted sweet bell pepper mix, and some green beans that I grew out in my outside garden and I freeze dried. Then for some spices, we've got some lemon thyme that I grew and dried. Then I got some oregano, some minced garlic. I'm gonna spray the pan with some olive oil cooking spray. And then I've got some a little bit of fish sauce, some homemade sriracha that I made, a little splash of teriyaki. It has a little bit of sugar, but I'm just going to use just a little bit, and then just a splash of soy sauce. So I'll get this going, and I'll show you guys in a minute. There you can see I got that stuff chopped up. It took me about 7 minutes to get it all chopped up and in the pan here. And those freeze-dried vegetables, I just let them sit in some water while I chopped everything up so they're nice and reconstituted. But my goal is when I make these, I gotta be fast. I work from home, but I feel guilty if I take longer than my hour for lunch. So I try to get my swim in a half hour, really quickly change, and then I try to make my food in, say, 15 minutes or so. It helps to have some leftovers, like the prime rib, so I like to grill on the weekend so I can have some protein I can use for some of these things. So in here just a couple minutes, I'll throw in the sauces, and then I'll show you when it's done. Okay, so now you can see this is cooked down some. It's looking just amazing. It smells so good. That is a lot of food. That's more than I'm going to be able to eat. But I'm also cooking for my daughter who got early out today from high school. Now I'm just going to add in those skinny noodles. I'm going to stir those all in. And then once this is done, then I'm just going to put it in a couple bowls and put a little sprinkle of cheese on the top. And I'm done and off back to work. So anyhow, it's really nice having all these greens growing in my hydroponic system so that I can just use them just to make quick lunches like this. And it's healthy, it's good for you, and hey, it's working. I'm losing some good weight lately. So anyhow, there you go. Okay, for the win. So this is the fat fighting tool of the week. So the fat fighting tool of the week I wanted to share with you guys this week is Strive Beef Biltong. So here's a piri spicy one. And it looks like they've kind of rebranded. I guess people don't really know what biltong is, so this is their newer packaging of the regular original flavor, and they've kind of, it just says thinly sliced steak on there now. But I really love biltong, and the reason I love biltong is it's so clean. And so let me give you a little background. I used to live in South Africa. It's about 30 years ago now. I'm not sure if I mentioned that before, and in fact I don't know if I mentioned this, but they even gave me, some Zulu friends there gave me a Zulu name, Ntaba Mhlope, which means white mountain, of all things, right? So I'm trying to change that. So maybe if I go back, I won't be Ntaba Mhlope anymore. But the biltong there in South Africa was awesome. Like every corner store, the local butchers there would have loads of it hanging and drying. I totally missed that. And what biltong is basically they take meat, and you can get down there if you go to South Africa. They have not only they have beef, but they have all the wild game, right? From like kudu and impala and ostrich and water buffalo and wildebeest, all those things. And basically so our technique of making jerky, right, is like we will smoke it, or we do all these things, and a lot of American jerkies have like the barbecue flavor, and if you look at the ingredients, most of them have sugar and stuff in them. What the South Africans do is they take a piece of meat and they soak it in a brine with vinegar and some coriander and some seasonings like that, and then they dry it, and the brine preserves it, and there's like no sugar, nothing in there. So here's like the original, for example, and I can just read the ingredients: beef, vinegar, and it contains 2% or less of salt, raisin juice, concentrate, black pepper, white pepper, garlic powder, coriander, clove, and nutmeg. So really, really clean. And if you look at the nutrition information, the calories on this is, so this bag is, it's just over 2 servings. And so the calories per serving is 100, so that's for 1 ounce. And of that, you have a little bit of fat, 3.5 grams of fat, 0 grams of carbs, 0 grams of sugar, and you have 10 grams of protein. 16 grams of protein. I need my reading glasses. But so you can see that's like really high protein, really, really good. So hopefully this will help me. Eating a little bit more of this will help me with my balance of my ratios a little bit, where I want to get the protein up. You can even order it if you wanted to in the slab form, where they haven't pre-cut it up, and so then you would take it and you can cut it up with a knife, or if you got like a fancier cutting method, they actually sell it looks like a paper cutter that they use to like cut these things into pieces. So anyway, that's the tool of the week. Taste is awesome. The spicy is pretty spicy, you know. Peri peppers, they're not messing around with this stuff. But anyhow, one of my faves. Okay, another new little section I've added here is small victories and fat world problems. So, you know, the small victories we have when we're trying to lose weight, that's the key, right? It keeps us motivated. So, and they're not necessarily big things. Maybe it's a shirt that fits again. Maybe we took the stairs without being winded. You know, all these little things. But the one I want to talk about this week is the theater. So one of the fat world problems that I have is the fear of a seat. Honestly, it's like I don't like going to public venues a lot of times because I don't feel like I fit, and I really hate imposing on other people. I always try to get an aisle. You know, can the armrest go up or not? Am I in pain? I've been places where I'm literally have been in pain trying to fit into the seat. You know, if my knees pushed against them, or them digging into my hips, those kinds of things. You know, a couple examples. I went to the BYU LSU game one time down and it was supposed to be in Houston when we bought tickets for this, where my wife grew up. And so we were excited to go down there, but then the hurricane came through and they moved the game to the New Orleans Superdome. And, you know, it's a modern NFL stadium, but all the modern NFL stadiums, they have those little seats, and I didn't fit in the seat. And it's like, oh, good grief. And so they made accommodations, but just for me. And so I basically had to go sit in a different area away from my wife and girls and watch the game. So yeah, this is one of those things. Another example, I went to a concert in the T-Mobile Arena in Vegas, and again, I didn't fit in the seats there. So they did let my wife sit with me in the handicap section where they set up some chairs, and I'm not handicapped, and it's just embarrassing. It's like, why are you here in the handicap section? Well, because I'm too fat, kind of a thing. So that's always been something that I've kind of feared. So the last couple times that my wife and girls went to some touring Broadway plays, I skipped them. And the one I'd seen before on Broadway in New York, Wicked, I love that play, but I skipped it when it came touring through Salt Lake. And the other one I would have really liked to have gone, Hamilton, but again, that was about when I was at my peak weight, so I was well over 500 pounds, and my wife even told me that it was good that I skipped because I wouldn't have fit in the seat. Anyway, this last weekend, there's another play coming through that my daughter was super excited to go see. So we got tickets to go see it, and I went, and this was the same theater, and we didn't have an aisle. So the play that we went to go see was called Six. It's about the six wives of Henry VIII. It's pretty entertaining, pretty fun. It's kind of like a rock concert almost. It's way different than your typical musical or touring Broadway play that you go see. The cool thing is I fit in the seat, and I had plenty of hip room. I had plenty of knee room, wasn't painful. We were on the front row of tier 3, and man, that thing's high. I was getting a little, but it was awesome that I could fit in the seat just fine. So, the more I lose, the more I'm going to be able to do those normal things again. So, small victory, but really, really motivating. So that's it for this week's update. So, comment below and, let me know what you think of these new sections, or if you like the way I did it better before, or if you like this kind of these new little tweaks I've done. I love hearing about your successes as well. One of the things I find myself doing sometimes is I'll go to the Mounjaro Reddit channel, and I'll just go through and look at all the before and after pics people are putting on there. It's kind of inspiring when you're like just to kind of see that it's working for other people. It's working. So got to keep going, got to keep fighting. So keep fighting the fat, y'all. Cheers.